Infosecurity TV.
I think one of the great things about moderating a panel is the difference of opinions, and I'm really hoping that myself and the panelists will bring different perspectives and different views on the supply chain, the problems we see with increasingly globalized supply chains, and to be fair, the way that we deal with things, the way we approach information security, information risk across our suppliers, our supply chains, and perhaps maybe even a chance to reflect on what we think we could do better inside our own organisations rather than relying on our suppliers. I think there are a couple of reasons. One is the fact that through the Information Security Forum, I've spent the last 4 or 5 years working on the whole external supply chain piece, and that's culminated in a lot of research analysis we've done for our membership. So, one, I've got a great interest in the subject. Two, I have a great network across information security specialists and academia and experts that I want to bring into Infosecurity Europe this year. And another thing is, I always want to learn, and the best way of learning is by talking and testing and listening to other experts and other information security perspectives as well. Yes, you can say that there is a little bit of the ISF wants to showcase its work. That's quite true, but I think also we want to open it up and share it with the wider community, not just our membership, because security is only as strong as the weakest link. Within our own organisations, we know if we have problems with firewalls and technical security measures or people and awareness measures, that's where problems can start. Well, the same is true in your supply chain. If your suppliers are the weakest link, and we've seen recently in America that people like Lockheed Martin have been hacked because their suppliers have been hacked first, and then they provide a route into the more secure organisation. If we can help our suppliers get better, we're actually helping ourselves. So that's one of the reasons why, or several of the reasons why I really, really wanted to be part of this supply chain initiative, and why I'm really pleased to be moderating. Oh, quite a few. I'm going to sort of deliberately lay out some contentious viewpoint, that the supply chain can't be secured, and that really, we're dependent on suppliers who we don't know much about and we don't have time to learn about. So we need to throw away the old processes and the old mindsets and understand how we can really engage with the suppliers that matter. Now, that may provoke debate, or it may be that many people agree with me, but what we will find, I think, is that where the industry is today and where we need to go to tomorrow. And I think that's one of the things I'd like to do at the end, is actually have a world view of where we think we need to go over the next 2 or 3 years. It's not going to change overnight. Supply chains are big, complex beasts, and there's contracts and all sorts of legal agreements involved, and they always take a long time to change. But if we can start now, we can prepare ourselves for the future and be ready for the future, whatever it is. Oh, good question. I think there's a couple of things. I'll move away from supply chain for the moment. I think one of the big things that certainly we in the Information Security Forum are seeing, and across our membership, is that we think there's going to be a period of sort of evolution of threat. So, we've got the APTs, we've got the malware, we've got the social engineering. What we think is going to happen, and what I think is going to happen, is that these are going to get better. They're going to become more integrated. We're going to see different ways of planning, conducting an attack, different ways of taking money out. For example, just after Christmas, I know of a bank that was hit by a DDoS attack, which actually covered the theft of $1 million. So I think we'll see much more of this blended attack and much more sophistication of the attacks going forwards. I think we'll also see on the other side lots more technology to deal with. There's the iPad Mini. What's the next? What's the next Google technology that's going to come forward? Is it going to be a revision of Wave, or is it going to be a new Google tablet or something? So I think we're going to see threats evolving rather than rather than changing significantly. Lots more technology. And I think the third challenge is we're seeing much more tech savvy, technically aware people in the both education sector coming into the jobs market, and unfortunately people who are not in jobs but who are still playing with technology. And there's the good guys and the bad guys in that scenario as well. So, we've got these evolving threats. We've got the the executive jewelry, the new devices coming out all the time. We have the much more tech savvy, a much more tech comfortable workforce as well, who love using technology and who want to use it and who want to do different things with it. And the final challenge I think we're going to face over the next year or so is money and the lack thereof. Because even though we have all these pressures, there is not that much money in the corporate sector. Information security is still a very small slice, a very small pie, and we have to try and do more with less. And I think that's going to encourage, and I hope it's going to encourage us to think differently. I think the age of buying just products and hoping that they're going to defend against each threat point by point is past us, and we need to move forward and then think of a different way of doing things. Well, personally, I hope we can talk about supply chains, because then I can come back and maybe do something else. Joking aside, I think that over the next couple of years, I'm hoping we're going to see a change in emphasis away from how do we control things to how do we work in the new environment? How can we be more resilient? How can our businesses keep working even in spite of all of these APTs and the threats and the vulnerabilities we hear about? Hopefully we'll be looking at a much more mature mobile space where mobile isn't something that we all throw our hands up and run away screaming from, or bring your own device or bring your own cloud, but we have the ability to say, well, this confers great business benefit. Let's make it work, and let's not only understand the risks but turn it around to our advantage. You know, there are some great advantages for being mobile for a business and in some ways for security. We just have to think perhaps slightly differently to take hold of them. So predictions for next year, much as I know these are always interesting because they're sort of crystal ball things, I think we'll still probably will be talking about controls. We still will be talking about technology, but I'm hoping to hear a lot more about awareness, blending mobility in, and giving business advantage, business benefit through what we do. Come and see me moderating the panel on securing data in the supply chain on Tuesday 23rd of April in the keynote theatre at Infosecurity Europe 2013.
Infosecurity Europe, Europe's #1 information security event.